Introduction to prospect theory. Prospect theory is a behavioral economics theory that describes how people make decisions under uncertainty. It was developed by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky in 1979, and it has since become one of the most influential theories in the field of economics. The central idea behind prospect theory is that people do not always make rational decisions when faced with uncertain outcomes. Instead, they are influenced by a range of cognitive biases and heuristics that can lead them to make choices that are not in their best interest. Key concepts in prospect theory. There are several key concepts that underpin prospect theory. One of these is the idea of reference points. A reference point is a baseline against which people evaluate potential gains and losses. The reference point can be different for different individuals and can change depending on the context. Another important concept in prospect theory is loss aversion. This refers to the tendency for people to feel the pain of losses more acutely than the pleasure of gains. As a result, people may be willing to take greater risks to avoid losses than they would be to achieve gains. Framing effects in prospect theory. One of the most significant contributions of prospect theory is its explanation of framing effects. Framing effects occur when the way a decision is presented affects the choices people make, even if the underlying information is the same. For example, people may be more likely to choose a product if it is presented as having a 90% success rate rather than a 10% failure rate, even though these two statements convey the same information. This is because the first statement frames the decision in terms of gains, while the second frames it in terms of losses. Applications of prospect theory. Prospect theory has numerous applications in fields such as finance, marketing, and public policy. For example, understanding prospect theory can help marketers design advertisements that appeal to consumers' emotions and biases. In finance, prospect theory can help explain why investors may be willing to hold on to losing stocks for longer than they should, or why they may be more likely to sell winning stocks too soon. By understanding these biases, financial professionals can make better investment decisions. Critiques of prospect theory. Despite its widespread use and influence, prospect theory has also faced some critiques. One criticism is that it may not accurately represent how people make decisions in real-world situations, as it relies heavily on laboratory experiments. Another critique is that prospect theory does not account for social factors that may influence decision-making, such as cultural norms and peer pressure. Some scholars have also argued that prospect theory is overly focused on individual decision-making and does not adequately consider group dynamics. Conclusion: the importance of prospect theory. Despite its limitations, prospect theory remains an important tool for understanding how people make decisions under uncertainty. By shedding light on the cognitive biases and heuristics that influence our choices, prospect theory can help us make better decisions in a wide range of contexts. As we continue to grapple with complex problems in areas such as finance, healthcare, and environmental policy, the insights provided by prospect theory will be increasingly valuable for policymakers, practitioners, and researchers alike.